Why aren't you getting your teams to do what they need to do? Hi, my name is Melissa Hurry, and I am a project management and program management specialist. Now, as part of project and program management, we talk about leadership. And leadership is a huge thing because not only is it about how you lead your team, but it's also about how you communicate with your team and how you get the job done too. Okay, so when we're talking about leadership, how do we get the results? What is it that we need from our team? Now, the first thing I mentioned earlier was communication. So communication, we need to find the right balance as to how we communicate. Are we looking at transactional leadership, or do we want to transform our teams? When we're transforming our teams, we want to make sure we get the best of them. So how do we get the best from our teams? Number one, motivation. What's the reason? Why? We always talk about this point, know your purpose. Why do you want to do it? But we can't have the purpose without the vision. So if you're a leader who's always talking about why, i.e. the reason why we're doing this is to hit our targets, but what is the vision of the target? You need to go beyond the target. If I want to make X amount of sales in 6 months, but then what is that going to lead to if I get to 6 months, or when I get to 6 months? Am I just trying to create a load of money, or am I looking at what I would like to achieve beyond the 6 months, which is the reason why we have to reach particular targets? So that's number one. Know your why. Number two, kind of like a subset, but also part of number one, is have a vision. So the vision and the why need to come together. The next point I'm going to look at is knowing who you've got on your team. How many of you have team members that you might have too many? Yeah. Maybe you're doing friends a favor. Oh, why don't you just join in, and we could use the help, but now you've got too many hands. Maybe you've got some idle hands because they're saying, well, actually, I don't need to do much because everyone's doing everything. So we need to make sure that we're leveraging our teams effectively. Make sure there's a use for them. How are you using your resources? People are resources. So knowing who's on the team and knowing what they're doing is going to help with that effective leadership. So knowing who's on the team, i.e. knowing their names, but also knowing what they're doing so that they feel useful and they feel part of the team. If you've got some slackers, and we all know who the slackers are in the team, then you might need to redistribute them elsewhere. How do you communicate with your team? So motivation is about knowing the reason why and the vision, which is what we covered in the first part, kind of like a 1 and 2 together. The next one we looked at is about knowing who's in your team and who's in the team as well and what they're doing. And then the next part is about communication. Are we tailoring our communication to those team members? So if I'm talking to someone who is the people person, I might have to tailor how I speak to them, even tailor the vision so that they can see the bigger picture. If I've got someone who's like, I don't know, data and analytics, switch up your communication, change up your jargon. If you don't understand the jargon, understand it. Maybe you need to pull back a bit to learn how they speak. So that's what I would definitely encourage. When you know who's on the team, know how to speak their language and know how to communicate with them. They are going to appreciate that communication. It's the same thing like if you've got stakeholders or anyone else that you are obviously sending out comms to. Know your audience, know who your team are, how would they like to be spoken to, and you'll tailor it as you need to. Now with that communication, there is also something called skill and will, and you will adapt your communication according to those who are motivated and can be delegated to versus the ones that are very demotivated and probably need a bit more direction. So you're looking at a couple of things here, knowing who's on the team and how to tailor it to their area or their industry versus the will, the skill and the will. Yeah, so that's what we're looking at in terms of communication. And then, of course, the last part is actually getting something from them. Understanding the point of diversifying your team so that you can get the best from them. So if your team are exactly the same type of people, now I'm talking about protected characteristics as well as just in terms of industry experience, technical skills, etc., then you're just going to get the same sort of feedback. So we need diverse teams, and that will be another part that I'll speak to. So to summarize, what is your vision? Understand the reasons why. Tailor it to your team so that they also get aligned with that vision. The other point, number 2 or 3, however you want to number that, know who's on your team. Is it too big a team? Is it too small a team? What are they doing? Make sure it's of use and of according to their right skill. Number 4, make sure you're looking at how you're communicating with them. If we're not tailoring communication, it's not a one size that fits all. Definitely isn't. You are going to have to adopt different styles, understand the styles, and the only way that you can understand your style is by understanding your team members. And then, of course, as part of that, when you are tailoring, you could call it the number 5 as well if you wanted to. Understand the skill or will. Are they very motivated where you can delegate, or do they need more direction? And again, with that communication, you'll be able to, of course, understand where they are. And this is where you can start to lead effectively. And if you need any more advice, contact me. My name is Melissa Hurry, and of course, you can get me at info@lifestylecombo.com, and I'm happy to provide my services to help your business move forward.